Okay, we're starting off with, we've been taking graphs and points and tables and finding out what the slope and the y-intercept are. Now we're going to be given the slope and the y-intercept, and now we have to graph it. So we just did horizontal and vertical lines. Now we need to deal with the equation when y equals mx plus b and how to graph that. When you graph something like this, you're going to get a diagonal line. Remember, when it was y equals a number, it was a horizontal line. When it was x equals a number, it's a vertical line. We're going to be dealing with positive and negative diagonal lines. So you always need to find two things. The very first thing you need to find is you need to find the slope, and then you need to find the y-intercept. And remember, the y-intercept is always, and we could put the b there or we could put the y there, whichever way you want to write that. Okay? Now, the first thing we need to do is we need to plot the y-intercept along the y-axis. So if it's a positive, it goes up. If it's a negative, it goes down. Okay? The y-intercept is not next to the x. That's the slope. Then, from the y-intercept, from there, we're going to start there. We're going to do rise over run. Okay? So if it's a negative, we're going to go in the negative direction. If it's a positive, we're going to go into the positive direction in order to find the second one. Now, you always want to write it in a fraction. You don't want it in a mixed number. You don't want it in a decimal if possible. Okay? Now, here we go. So we're going to come down here and we're going to look at this. We're going to look at y equals 3x plus 2. So the number in front of x is my slope. I want it as a fraction. The number that stands alone, the constant, is my y-intercept. So the very first thing I do is I go to 0, 2, and I plot that point. Now, this is a positive slope, so that means I'm going to be going up. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3. And that means I'm going to go to the right because I need that to go in the positive direction. Now, could I have gone down? Yes, 1, 2, 3. But make sure your slope still stays positive. So that means I have to go to the left. I go 1, 2, 3, and I go over 1. See how all of those points, whether you went up or you went down, they always... Oops, that was horrible. Let's try it from here. There we go. They always go in a positive direction. So let's look at the next one. Now remember, slope is the number that's sitting in front of the x. The number that's sitting in front of x, it's attached to it, it's multiplied by it, is -2. So that means that my slope is going to go this direction. My y-intercept is the number that stands alone, and that is 0, 4. So I go to 4, plot my point. Now remember that this says -2. So it doesn't matter if I go up or down. So if I was to go up, I just need to remember this is a negative slope, so I have to come to the left. If I'm going down 1, 2, I need to go to the right because I need to make sure that this slope is going in a negative direction. Down 2, over 1. Down 2, over 1. Down 2, over 1. Down 2, over 1. And hopefully, there we go. I make a line. This next one, some of you are going to say there is no slope. Yes, there is. There's an invisible number in front of the x. If it was 0, 0 times x would be 0. It wouldn't be there. So it's 1, which is 1 over 1. my slope or my y-intercept is 0, 2. So I plot this 0, 2. My slope is positive, so it means I'm going to be going in this direction. So that means if I go up 1, I have to go over 1. Up 1, over 1. Up 1, over 1. Up 1, over 1. Now if I had gone down, I go down, but I go to the left 1. Down 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 to the left 1. And there you have a line with the slope of 1. Now, you could always, afterwards, do like this and say, how much did I go up? I went up by 1. How much did I go over? I went over by 1. Here we have, there's nothing added or subtracted, so we have to keep an eye on that one. So let's look at this. This says a negative. That's like having a -1 right there. My slope is -1. My y-intercept, there's nothing added. Remember, this is proportional. It goes through 0, 0. So this is the point 0, 0. Now this line is going to go downhill, not uphill. So if I go up 1, I have to go to the left because that would cause it to have a negative slope. Up 1 to the left 1. 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 Down 1 to the right 1. Down 1 to the right 1. Down, right. Down, right. Down, right. Okay, so this is going in a negative direction. So this has a negative, oh, that was a horrible line. There we go. -1 slope. Then this one. The number in front of x is -1/2. So again, it's going to go in the negative direction. B is 0, -6. So I go to 0, -6. And I need it to go in the negative direction, but it's a -1/2. So that means I'm going to go up 1, but I'm going to go over 2. Up 1, and I go over 2. Up 1, and I go over 2. And there we have our line. This next one, the slope is 3/4. It's positive, so it's going to go this direction. The y-intercept is 0, 4. So I go to 0, 4. Look at this. I can't really go up 3. I could, and then go over 1, 2, 3, 4. But I'm really going to have to go down. 1, oopsie daisy, 1. How about we undo that? Undo that. 1, 2, 3, but I need to make sure it's going in the positive direction. So I'm going to go over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now I'm just going to draw a line that goes through each one of these, and voila. So this one we need to label it. So my slope for this one is 1. My y-intercept is 0, 0. So if I go up by 1, over 1. Up, oh, this is a positive slope. I should have done that. Up by 1, over 1. Up by 1, over 1. Up 1, over 1. Up 1, over 1. Up 1, over 1. And if I had gone down, I would have gone down 1, over 1. 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 And drawn a line. And this is A. Actually going to change colors. So y equals a number. Remember, hoy or oi. Okay, so y equals a number. That gets me a horizontal line. So I go to 3 when it's y equals 3, and I plot some points. That means it's going to be a horizontal line. So this would be B. And then, oops, I don't want to do the same color. So this is Vux. That means that we're going to have a vertical line going through x is -2. So that's right here. So we're going to draw a line right here. So that is line C. Oops, that was horrible. Line C. Okay. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. So on this first one, slope is 1/2. Y-intercept is 0, -1. So I go to 0, -1, plot a point. My slope is positive. I'm going to be going in this direction. So up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. And that is line A. This next one has a slope of -5 over 2 and a y-intercept of 0, 1. It is a negative slope, so it'll be going in the downward direction. So I plot 0, 1. I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's the negative direction, so I need to go over here and put my point. Oops, so I need 2. 1, 2, there we go. Or I go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I go over 2. And that is line B. And I'll do green. This one's slope is 4. Its y-intercept is 7. So it is also going to be going in the positive direction. I go up to 7. Can't really go up 4 and over 1. So I'm going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you go over 1. Down 1, 2, 3, 4. And over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. And over 1. Okay, really can't go anymore. So we'll just draw this line. And that's line C. Okay. Okay, so this next one, the slope is the number in front of x, so that's 10, or 10 over 1, and 25. So I go to 25, so that's halfway between 20 and 30. I go up 10. So if I'm going up 10, I go up 5, 10, 5, 10, I go over 1. So I go up 5, 10, over 1. 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 And then, okay. Notice how I put arrows on each one of these. Jasmine hit a golf ball through her neighbor's window on accident. The window is $150 to replace. She will pay her neighbor $10 each week to replace it. Okay, so it's $150 to start off. They owe $150. So that means that's the y-intercept. And it's $10 each week. So that's the same thing as saying per. So that means we're going to be going, our slope is going to be 10 over 1. But we're going down because the money is getting less and less. So I'm going to go down. Now each one of these, this is going up by tens. So I just have to go down and over 1. Down 1, over 1. Down 1, over 1. Now what we really should have done is we really should have labeled this. So this over here would be our cost. It's actually not our cost. I don't want to call it cost. How about money owed? There we go. That's better. And this is weeks. So how many weeks is it going to take to replace it? 15 weeks. Okay. So let's come down here. Okay, if we look at this, the slope on this one is 3, or 3 over 1, and 0, 1, negative 1. And this is positive direction. So I'm going to go to 0, negative 1. I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3 over 1. 1, 2, 3 over 1. If I was to go down, I go down 1, 2, 3 over 1. And I draw a line. That's not perfect, but that's okay. Then this line, the slope is negative 3. So it's the same thing except for it's in the negative direction. So if I was to start at 0, negative 1, and I go up 1, 2, 3, I would go over here. 1, 2, 3, and I would go, so it was the negative direction. And then, so it's basically the exact same line, except for it's reflected over the y-axis. So let's go over here. My slope here is negative 2/3. My y-intercept is 0, 4. Negative would go this direction, so I go to 4. I can go up 2, but I have to make sure that I'm negative direction, so that means I have to go to the left 3. Then I would go down 2 and to the right 3. Down 2 to the right 3. And I draw my line. Okay. So on this one, this is C. We're going to change that to a plus sign. Because, oh no, sorry, I lied. I just realized the difference. The difference is negative 4. I thought it was the exact same problem for a second. So I go down here to negative 4. Okay, again, it's negative direction. So these two lines should be parallel to each other because they have the same slope. So I'm going to go up 2, and I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3. Up 2, I go over 1, 2, 3. Or I could have gone down 2 and over 1, 2, 3. So these lines are parallel to each other because they have the exact same slope. And last but certainly not least, oh, and I didn't label that one D. Remember, if it's HOI, it's a horizontal line at 3. So horizontal line at 3 is E. Vertical line at negative 4 is right here, because this is Vux, and that's F. Okay. What's the difference? Number 4. What's the difference between line A and line B? If you look at it, the slope is different. Okay? It reflected over the y-axis. What is the difference between C and D? The y-intercept is opposite. So the lines are parallel. How do you know that the graphs of A, B, C, D would be diagonal? They have both X and Y. How did you know line E would be horizontal? Because horizontal is HOI. How would I know it's vertical? Because of VUX. How can you double check your work to make sure that the line is going in the right direction? Plug in a point. Okay, so here we go. This right here, the slope is -2. The y-intercept is 4. So this is a negative slope, so it would be going in the negative direction. So I'm at 4. I can go up 2, but I have to make sure I go to the left. Down 2, I go to the right. Down 2, 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 go to the right. Oops, that was right. Why did I do that? Okay, don't ask. There we go. Now, oh, sorry, that was G. Okay, so this one's slope is -1/2. So again, it's going in the negative direction. And my slope is 0, -3. So I go to 0, -3. And I can go up 1, but I need to go to the left 2. Up 1, left 2. Up 1, left 2. Or I could have gone down 1, left or right 2. Down 1, right 2. Down 1, right 2. And there we have, this is H. How about we change G right here to the right color so that, there we go. So over here, J, my slope is 1. It's positive. It's 1/1. The point is 0, 2. So I go to 0, 2, and I go up 1/1, up 1/1, up 1/1, up 1/1, or down 1/1, down 1/1, down 1/1, down 1/1. Right here is my graph. Then this is VUX because it's just one variable. So this means it's a vertical line when X is 2. So I'm going to go to X is 2 and I'm going to make a vertical line. Then this one. My slope is -1. That means it's negative direction. My intercept is 0, 0 because there's nothing added. So we go to 0, 0. Okay, negative direction, up 1/1, up 1/1, down 1/1, down 1/1, making sure that it's going in the negative direction. So that's line L, I believe. Yep. And then last but not least, I'll do it in this color, Y equals a number. So that's HOI. So that means it's going to be a horizontal line through -1. So I go to when Y is -1, and there we have it.